Good day. You're welcome once again. This class is for CDL 501 Basic Marketing. Today we'll be taking a look at marketing environment. Because businesses do not take place in a vacuum, it is practical that there are environmental concerns that marketers need to be alert to. So, as such, marketers are meant to be environmental trend trackers and opportunity seekers. They need to watch the outside environment to be able to understand their surrounding and how it affects them. This environmental information can be gotten from marketing research, marketing intelligence, with respect to customers, to competitors, to the economy, and what have you. Broadly, this marketing environment is divided into two. We have the macro environment and the micro environment. We'll begin by taking a look at the macro environment. The macro environment is made up of factors that are uncontrollable by the marketer. These factors, the marketer can only adapt to. The marketer can only adapt to. He cannot change them. He cannot influence them. So it is in the best interest of a marketer to try to understand these variables or factors to see how they, present opportunities and also to avert potential threats from them. One of these factors is demographic environment. When we talk about demography, the emphasis is on population characteristics. And it's essential that a marketer understands the demographic environment of the market because it's more or less a starting point to effective marketing process. It is only when you understand your customers better that you can begin to make products that will fit them, that will satisfy their specific needs. Some of these population characteristics include things like age, gender, educational qualification, status, social status, maybe some regional characteristics, because it is obvious that some products are not consumed by everybody. The things that people in the upper income class consume and what those in the lower income class consume are not the same. So it is important that a good understanding of the demographic variables would guide product development, product positioning, and branding. Products that are made for children, they usually come in very colorful packages because these are what attract children. The same may go for some products that are targeted at females. The same thing applies to some regional characteristics or ethnic variables. For instance, a good look at the Nigerian market shows that some products are forbidden in certain religious contexts. Take for instance alcohol. for the Muslims work with. So it is important that a marketer gains a deeper understanding of the demographic environment and tries to adapt to them, and also tries to take advantages of the opportunities that these specific and unique uh, characteristics provide. So this understanding could help in creating a niche. When you understand that in a particular market you have a greater population of children, maybe you may tend to go into products that suit children since there is an available market. When you also think that in that same environment that everybody is concentrating efforts on children, it could also be a pointer to the fact that the adults are being neglected. So we also look at the technological environment. In our world today, technology is one of the things that is changing lives, changing the world. It is important that organizations, especially those involved in technical products, monitor the trend in technological growth so they don't get left behind. Take for instance, uh, with the coming of personal computers, typewriters became redundant. I could imagine that if the manufacturers of typewriters, manual typewriters at the time, you know, saw what was coming, maybe they would have invested, shifted their investment to the personal computers. Also, look at the telecom industry, particularly in this part of the world. At the advent of handsets, mobile phones in Nigeria, Nokia had the highest market share. But while technology kept moving from Java phones to Android phones, they were left behind because they didn't move the trend with the trend. And then we started having other brands like Tecno, Xiaomi, taking over the market. That's technology affecting uh, business operations. So it is important that businesses should all monitor technological development. Each technological breakthrough gives rise to something, getting redundant and another phase of life coming up. So a business that wants to stay afloat must, as a matter of importance, monitor technological growth and see how the business would key into the trending technology to stay afloat. Another variable in the macro environment is the natural environment. Natural environment. Nature has its role to play because obviously uh, we all, both the consumers, both the business, is being affected by what happens in nature. Most of the times, the raw materials used in this process, in manufacturing process, comes from nature. So an organization also needs to monitor the natural environment, see how these things affect the business activities. For instance, some areas are prone to flood, some areas are prone to earthquake. Uh, it is important that organizations look out for the risk that nature portends and also see how that will have an effect on their business. In contemporary age, there's been a lot of discussion on the depletion of the ozone layer. as a result of uh, pollution from the activities of man. This discussion has also given rise to sustainability arguments. So it is important that organizations also try to key into being sustainable such that the activities are not harmful to the environment, to the natural resources. Because obviously, a lot of people are beginning to favor products that are sustainable, products that are not harmful to the environment. In as much as we are, satisfying our needs today, we shouldn't uh, do that in a way that future generations are at risk. We also have the political and legal environment. The marketing decisions and activities are strongly affected by the happenings in the political space and the laws of the land. The political space, we're talking about government, leadership, and the laws they make. This goes a long way to affect the way businesses are run. Uh, Recently, there has been an amendment to the Finance Act of Nigeria, and models of taxation percentages are changing or have changed. This goes a long way to affect business operations. Organizations should monitor the events in the political space to see what they need to do, how they need to conform. Government could place laws, maybe placing a ban on some products. These bans could create opportunities for the organizations to key into, the substitutes or the alternatives. For instance, an importation on foreign rice creates opportunities for local rice production and sales. So a marketer should always monitor the events happening in the market space and also try to key in. Take for instance the NSAS protest. A lot of businesses keyed in support of the youth, possibly because they believe the youth are a greater population, has a greater percentage of their customers. So that support is in line with adapting to environmental uh, concepts. We also have the social cultural environment. Man is a social being, and man exists and live amongst uh, people. And also, there are cultures, there are norms and belief systems that guide their people's lives. This needs to be well understood because most times they tend to affect the things we consume, they tend to affect the way we think about things and all whatnot. It is important that the people's culture is understood such that the product does not contradict their cultural beliefs or the activities of the organization does not contradict their cultural beliefs. Once this happens, they begin to feel they begin to have a dissenting voice respect to whatever promotional uh, program the organization has. The way the social life of the people also needs to be understood. What kind of people are they? How the product fits into that lifestyle would also help the marketer to better satisfy them, to better meet their needs. Also, in the macro environment, we have the competitors, the competitive environment. As always, businesses need to monitor the activities of competitors, because these competitors, you struggle with for the same market with, need to you need to know what they are doing. You need to know how you know twist your strategies to outsmart them, and in that way to win the competitive war. So it's important to understand the trend in competition as a way to better perform. We also have the economic environment. The economic environment, the economy of the market. Economic variables such as the income, price, uh, interest rates, credit availability, all needs to be well understood. The condition of the economy is a significant force that affects the marketing system, because if the economy is in prosperity, consumers will have a higher purchasing power and they'll be more willing to purchase goods and services. But on the reverse, if there's a recession, just like the post-COVID era is tilting towards, people have less to spend and try to keep as much as possible, to save as much as possible. So it is important that the economic environment is understood. In times of prosperity and recession, maybe a marketer could decide to present different products to suit these different positions. In times of prosperity, people could afford luxury, but in times of recession, only necessities would thrive. So these are the macro elements of the marketing environment. Now let's take a look at the micro environment. The micro environment can be influenced to a greater extent, more than the macro. So as such, the marketing manager may be able to exert a little pressure to the factors on the micro environment so as to achieve the marketing objectives. Now, some of the elements in the micro environment includes the customer. When we talk about the customer, we could have the business or institutional customers. That's when we're looking at intermediaries who buy for organizations. These people can be influenced. We could possibly, get them to agree with you that, okay, we'll supply you this and then you could pay over time. So the level of influence that the marketer could exert on the institutional customers to be able to achieve the marketing objectives. The same thing applies to suppliers. The company relies on products, maybe parts, raw materials from suppliers, possibly for production or resale. So whatever event that affects the producer will also affect the customer. So the marketer can influence what the supplier supplies so as to meet production specifications and customer requirements. We could also have the marketing intermediaries, you know, the bank, the venture capitalists, and maybe financiers, wholesalers and retailers, wholesale operators, warehouse operators, and transportation companies that are involved in product distribution or advertising agencies, research firms, PR firms, etc. These intermediaries can also be influenced. They should work in as much as they may have their own guidelines. The intent or the interest is that they should meet your requirements. So the marketer can exert reasonable influence on the marketing intermediaries to be able to meet his own objective. So having said this, this explains the marketing environment and this classification and sub-classifications. It is important that while you read through the course material, you should attempt the SAQ questions. And if you have questions or comments, you can also bring it on and send it across. Thank you very much.